And you're listening to Make It Known with Mile Clips. Roll them. So the last is your make it known statement.
Yeah.
And, we kind of talked about what you could talk about. So if you could.
Yeah. So I would like to, let's see, we'll go over it this way. One, the first thing is, I think it's important that you vote. Regardless of what your beliefs are, I think it's important that you vote, because we will only be a better and a stronger and a more perfect country with more voices participating in the conversation and expressing how they think we can best move forward. So that's the first thing. I really think, I think that's been hit on a lot in this video, but definitely go vote.
Yes.
The other thing I want to talk about is something that's a little bit more partisan in nature than I have tried to go in this conversation, because I've used examples from both sides, and I think that, it's wherever you are is great. But if you know me long enough, you'll get the local government talk, but you'll also get the Republican talk. And I'm a Republican. I think it's pretty obvious at this point.
Yes, by your title as well.
By my title, as well as by the things that I've chosen to talk about and how. But I'm a Republican, and here's why. So I posted something about this. It's more in depth, and you can go read it if you want the other day. And it was regarding the legislation that Senator Tim Scott introduced into the Senate, and it was voted on in the Senate, and it was voted down. And it lost by just 4 votes, I think. And everyone who voted for it was a Republican. Everyone who voted against it was a Democrat. One, I think it's unfortunate that our system is that partisan. But 2, I think it is unfortunate that the Democratic Party seems currently, and this is obviously from my perspective as a Republican, but I think that it is somewhat true. And if you are maybe in the middle, you might agree. I want to be a part of a group of people that genuinely cares about solutions, and that genuinely cares about the values that I've expressed believing in for this country, and that genuinely believes in the vision that I believe in for this country. And I think Senator Scott's bill was a good example of this. So he put together a bill to address some of the concerns about police brutality that are in this country that people have very rightly taken to the streets to talk about. And this bill addressed some of those concerns, created some legislation at the federal level, whatever the purview of the federal government was in different cases, to make that issue, to at least address that issue and try to solve some of the problems. Now, obviously, it's a piece of legislation. It can't solve every problem ever, and it can't stop everything ever. But we have to take a step forward, right? If we have a problem, we have to take a step forward.
Yeah.
And this is something that the Democrats in the House of Representatives, like I was talking about the 2 sides, and they both have bills, and they try to push them through. The Democrats in the House of Representatives had a similar crime bill about this, and because they have a majority in the House, they pushed it through. They didn't ask for any amendments. They didn't ask for any Republican support. They didn't want any Republican support, and they didn't have any discussion on it. The bill that Senator Tim Scott, who is a Republican, put into the Senate and went onto the Senate floor, he sat down with a bunch of members of the Democratic Party, including Schumer, including Democratic leadership, and said, what do you need for this bill to pass? Do you want an added amendment? Do you think it doesn't cover enough stuff? Do you want to address this in stricter terms? Do you want more funding to this? Do you want less funding to this? How can we make this happen so that we can pass something? And I think he said he offered 20 amendments on his bill, 20 different people, to say, tack whatever you want onto this bill so that we can make it pass. And every single one of them refused to work with him, refused to talk with him, refused to find a solution. And that's very telling to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, I'm a Republican, but I don't care about scoring political points. I don't care about, red team versus blue team. My team has more points. I'm a Republican because I believe in the principles of the Republican Party. I believe in the policies, not all of them, but, you know, some of them, the general guiding beliefs of the Republican Party. I don't think anybody agrees with every single thing the Republican Party has ever done or every single thing the Democratic Party has ever done.
Right.
I don't expect them to.
Humans are more nuanced than that.
Exactly. Everything, like, that's unreasonable. So I don't expect you to, as a, you know, anybody to.
Right.
But I want to work with people who want to find real solutions, who care about lifting their communities up by giving them opportunity and personal responsibility, not just, you know, in the harsh, like, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. No. I want people who value individuals as being able to contribute. And it bothers me that the left is pushed farther to the side of, we should take care of everyone because honestly, you're either too stupid, too poor, or just not good enough to figure it out for yourself. And we will only work on things that score us political points and are to the end that we have to take care of you and tell you what is best for you. I just don't believe that. I just don't believe. I believe that the people in Washington and the people at my state government, the people at my local government work for me to protect my life, my liberty, and my property. I am not here to make anyone else feel good. I am not here for anyone else to take care of me. I want to take care of my community. I want to take care of people in my community. I want, you know, older folks in my community to be able to retire. I want those things. But I do not think that I need to be subservient to the government in order to do those things. I believe that the individual is more in need of protection than the collective. And so that's why I'm a Republican. I know that that's a long and kind of philosophical answer, but what I've seen from my party is people who genuinely value that. People who genuinely value the strength and the necessity of protecting the individual over the will of the masses. The will of the masses is fine, but I'm me. That might seem selfish, but if our whole system of government is to protect me from the government, then why would I want to surrender my autonomy fully to the government? And this is a very libertarian perspective.
Ooh,
probably comes off as a little libertarian to some of you.
You said the L word.
I know I said the L word. It is not. There's other things that I care about, like national defense. And, you know, like I said, I don't think that it's, you know, I don't think that we shouldn't be without security nets. I think that we absolutely should be. And that's, you know, reasonable role of government. I don't mind paying taxes to that. That's fine. But it's basically, at the end of the day, who are we serving? And at the end of the day, are we trying to solve problems or aren't we?
Yeah.
I want to solve problems. I want to protect people's rights. That's all.